Three Manchester City stars could face January transfer decision. Something has to change. Manchester City news as trio of Blues players face World Cup dilemma. Manchester City head into the international break in buoyant mood after a 7-game unbeaten run. But for some of their players, this week is a brutal reminder of tough transfer decisions that might need to be made. The Blues have reshaped their squad in 2025 with a host of new signings and nearly £400 million spent. It's given the City first team a different look with Gianluigi Donnarumma and Tijani Reinders, certain starters, and the likes of Abdulkader Kusanov, Ryan Ait-Nouri, Ryan Cherki, and Omar Marmoush expected to play plenty of minutes this term. But the clutch of calendar year arrivals has left some City fall guys, and it could cost a trio of stars a World Cup spot. James Trafford arrived in the summer, eyeing a battle to be City number one with Ederson, but within a matter of weeks had been relegated to second choice with his club, meaning his international ambitions of usurping Jordan Pickford have suffered a dent. Trafford is in Thomas Tuchel's latest England squad for games against Wales and Latvia over the coming week, and may well retain his spot as a three-lion squad stopper, even without regular minutes at the Etihad. But there is no doubt the 22-year-old is in a vulnerable international position 10 months out from the World Cup. That could force him to assess his options in the January transfer window, albeit the chances of City selling a keeper they hold in high regard seem non-existent. A loan move could potentially be more viable for the former Burnley man, but it remains to be seen what his short-term future holds at both club and international level. It's a similar story for Rico Lewis, who has been capped by England and had forced himself into a starting spot 12 months ago. But the 20-year-old has fallen down the pecking order at City with Matheus Nunes, John Stones and Kusanov all preferred to him at right back in recent weeks. It means Lewis has fallen out of the senior England reckoning, and this month is in Lee Carsley's under-21 squad. The full-back signed a contract extension last month at City and is another for who a permanent departure seems unlikely mid-season. The picture is perhaps a bit clearer for Nathan Ake after the Netherlands international was told by Dutch boss Ronald Koeman that retaining a spot in his squad while not playing regular football will not be possible. Koeman has called the 31-year-old up for the October internationals, but has made his stance clear on the future and the prospect of Ake making a World Cup squad if the current state of play continues. We've talked about it. Something has to change, said Koeman, adding, "You can't hardly play and still be part of a national team." Match practice is part of that, Koeman. Manchester City have to avoid Arsenal mistake as Liverpool FC stumble. Manchester City have already been written out of the title race, and that shouldn't bother them. Things can change very quickly in football. A few weeks ago, the Arsenal handbrake was the phrase of the day after yet more costly caution from Mikel Arteta. Yet suddenly, Liverpool are in transition, and the Gunners are top of the league. Gary Neville has said on multiple occasions it will be a two-horse race for the Premier League title, and spoke of Manchester City on Sunday as looking far from their best in a 1-0 win over Brentford. They certainly were in the second half, although there were still plenty of positives from the victory, just as there have been from the 7 games that have been sandwiched by the September and October international breaks. From being 6 points off the top of the table after 3 games, the Blues have halved that deficit within their last 4. The leaders have changed in that time too. A flawless start from Arne Slot's Liverpool in terms of results, including victory over Arsenal, has been derailed by consecutive defeats at Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Allowing the Gunners to sneak ahead after their late victory at Newcastle was followed up with a comfortable win over West Ham. For City, though, it doesn't matter who sits on top of the table. They will want to keep tabs on Arsenal and Liverpool because they are the 2 teams that finished above them last season, but Pep Guardiola will know not to pay too much attention to them. Arsenal were intent on getting one over on City last season, having been beaten to the last 2 Premier League titles, but while they enjoyed thumping them 5-1 at the Emirates and finishing above them, they barely managed to put up any kind of challenge for the actual title. Arteta's team would have shaken hands at the beginning of the season for the guarantee of finishing above the champions, yet they ended it no closer to actually lifting silverware. It's just 7 games for the Premier League, Guardiola said on Sunday. I would say 3 weeks ago Liverpool apparently won the Premier League and now they have not. It's important to see the team better and better. Liverpool is an incredible team, like Arsenal. The question is, to improve and improve, the way we play, the way we defend, will help us to be close to fight. City don't need to make the mistake of trying to chase down a particular team, they just need to make sure they are in the mix for as long as possible. While they are, players can come back from injury, others can improve their form, and the whole squad can grow in confidence knowing they are in with a shout of winning the league again. There may come a time where attention has to turn to Merseyside or North London. City travel to Liverpool in February and host Arsenal in April in games that could be hugely important in deciding where the title ends up. But there is no point even thinking about that now, as City continue to focus on making improvements to their team from last season. If others want to be distracted by them, that can only help. Manchester City have to ask unexpected question of £31 million signing after shock call-up. Rayan Aït-Nouri could be back for Manchester City after the international break, but there is a question over whether he gets his place back. May's FA Cup final defeat to Crystal Palace is a blot on the copybook for Manchester City, but particularly for 20-year-old Nico O'Reilly. That is the only one of the previous 19 games he has started for his club that has ended with him on the losing side. O'Reilly is becoming something of a lucky charm for the Blues. After 22 starts in all competitions, they have been beaten just twice, and one of them is the Carabao Cup reverse to Tottenham last October, which feels like it shouldn't really count. You wouldn't put it all down to O'Reilly, but there is certainly an argument for the academy graduate being the kind of player who makes those around him better as well. For one so young, his game intelligence is excellent, which is why he has gone from promising attacking midfielder to England left-back in the space of 10 months. His call-up as an injury replacement for Reece James for games against Wales and Latvia is another indication of his rapid progress in this calendar year. Last season, he started his 7th game for City on April 6th. This season, he brought up that landmark on Sunday. It has taken O'Reilly just 10 starts in the Premier League to force his way into Thomas Tuchel's plans, and there is certainly a vacancy at left-back in this England squad. There is no reason he can't have one eye on the World Cup next summer. To do that, he will need more experience, and that might be the biggest question mark over the next few months. After all, O'Reilly still insists he isn't really a fullback, and his stint of filling in on the left was supposed to have ended with the £31 million signing of Rayan Aït-Nouri. That looked to be the case early in the season. The Algerian started the first 3 games, and when he was forced off through injury against Tottenham, it was Nathan Ake who replaced him. In the games against Wolves and Brighton, O'Reilly came on for Bernardo Silva in the kind of advanced midfield role he expects to eventually make his own one day. The problem with that plan is that he continues to make playing left-back look pretty easy. With Aït-Nouri now injured, O'Reilly has played all but 24 minutes of City's last 7 matches. Of course, he went unbeaten in a run that has already turned this campaign on its head. When domestic action resumes after the international break, the expectation is that Aït-Nouri will be fit, or at least close to being fit. If he doesn't get enough training to face Everton, he could be back by the end of this month. Then Pep Guardiola has a decision to make. He continues to be enthused by O'Reilly's talent and character, traits which will now be on show to an even wider audience. When Aït-Nouri is fit again, does the natural left-back retake that spot, with O'Reilly returning to the role of midfield substitute? Manchester City have huge advantage in £231 million title race subplot with Arsenal and Liverpool. Manchester City are firmly back in the title race after they battled to a 1-0 win against Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium. What a difference 4 days make. Erling Haaland scowled at the cameras and berated his teammates after his 2 goals at Monaco were only enough for a draw on Wednesday night. In West London, his goal was enough for a vital 3 points in the Premier League title race, and he stripped off at full time, handing his shirt to a giddy supporter in the away end, with that scowl replaced by a beaming smile. Haaland again showed moments of frustration in the second half at Brentford, as City lost the control and dominance they had enjoyed before the break, but they managed to hang on. After Liverpool were beaten for the 3rd time in a week, this felt like the day that truly relaunched a 3-horse race for the title. It's been something of an old-school Premier League season so far, with a heavy focus on set pieces and long throws, so maybe it would be fitting if the title was decided by a trio of number 9S. After a spell when strikers were an endangered species, they are back, and the breeding ground for the old-school marksman seems to be Scandinavia. So, it is a significant subplot in what is shaping up to be a 3-horse race that the leading contenders all have someone who fits that bill. Just 25 months separate Erling Haaland, Alexander Isak and Victor Gyökeres in age, the Norwegian and 2 Swedes who wear the number. 9 for City, Liverpool and Arsenal respectively, and they have taken very different journeys to the position where their goal-scoring output could decide the destiny of the 2025/26 Premier League. They cost their current clubs £231 million in transfer fees, and the fact that Haaland came in cheapest of all shows what a deal City got. Not only did they land the best striker of the modern era, but they also tied him to a contract that kept him at the Etihad until 2034. 10 more years, 10 more years. Erling Haaland sang the away end at the G-Tech Community Stadium after he had scored his 18th goal in 11 games for club and country this year. Gyökeres has 3 in 10 for Arsenal, and Isak has 1 in 6 for Liverpool. Haaland's tally for City is 12 in 9. This goal was remarkably similar in structure to his opener in Monaco in midweek. He made another bending run to offer a pass to Josko Gvardiol, but had more to do when the ball reached him, bullying Sepp van der Berg to get in on goal,